about the zoom is, I might do it in I'll have to try and remember in future to add a little thing on. It is on the website and on the ticket thing, I think. If you click here, it will take you to Zoom, and they've got like a test thing, and you can sort of set up your device on there ready for this. When you actually connect, it just auto checks everything. So, oh, that's a shame. Never mind, we'll sort something out. Yeah, that was Gordy.
Wow. Yeah.
That's Gordon. Always does something
different.
interesting.
Going different for me.
Well,
So
there are no rules.
No.
He just sent me an email with it attached saying, "These are my ones."
Love the leaves.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Really good.
Oh yes, wow.
Ah, you got in, Mia.
Oh. Not here now.
You made it. Hi, Mia.
Hello.
Welcome. You had trouble getting in?
No, I was just sorting something out upstairs.
Oh, because it was going like trying to connect, and it's, you know, like the 3 dots, and I thought, I was just saying, that's a shame. We're just going through last week's results. That last week we were doing an apple. I don't know, was that my one? No, that's Chrissy's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
These are our artworks from last week that we attempted. Everyone, it was supposed to be a simple subject, just an apple. That's so complex. That was Gordon. He picked some out of his garden and used that one. Quite amazing. That was
mine.
That's Pauline's, yeah.
But
That's nice.
half of it off.
I was going to say, did you go?
The table, I've got the table in, and I did a smaller one as well this week.
It's a table.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But crop it up and it doesn't look quite so fair. Beauty of computing, you can auto adjust the colours.
Wow.
Auto adjust the colours, put a board around it. Maybe not that one. Make it bigger. Make it 103 times bigger, maybe. No, I don't want to play that. You did it last week. Put a board around it. How about that? Amazing, isn't it? Bit of digital art.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's what we ought to do, paint it all in funny colours.
Yeah, well, you can do that just by two little things on the keyboard, and all it does, the computer just balances the red, green and blue to a sort of a known value, really. But yeah, well done, everyone. I mean, I'll show you mine before we kick off in a minute. Hopefully I won't hang about, otherwise it'll be we'll have a no lunch session. Let me just. Today is Hillary. That's it. We haven't done a portrait for ages, have we?
No.
I haven't done one. I've been so engrossed in other stuff. I suppose it's summer in it, and you tend to get all landscapey, beachy, and all that sort of stuff. But it's a nice picture, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I just noticed that there's a chain around her neck. I didn't even notice that. That's the problem with the computer. You look and you suddenly see a whole load more of information. If you zoom in, she's got quite a lot of hairs on her face. Like, I thought, well, I'm not painting those. It's not very
Oh no.
very fine, very you can zoom in. You can do it. Oh, yeah. You zoom, yeah. Oops, no. You zoom in, then you can see it's almost like being on a blooming microscope. Poor lady.
Poor lady.
She wouldn't like that.
Mm.
I am a gentleman, after all. Anyway, I think we'll go for it. I haven't really got a clue what I'm gonna. I never plan or paint 3 or 4 demo pieces for myself, practice pieces, and then we have a go on Tuesday mornings. I only do it the same as everyone else would do it. It's new, never touched it before. I prefer it that way. It makes the world quite interesting. A bit like playing a new song at a gig that you've never played before, or you've got some music. That way it's an interpretation rather than contrived. Oh, I've got the right microphone on. Woo. So here we go. Like, take my coat off, my jacket. I'm raring to go. Oh yeah, just quickly. Last when we're on about apples. This thing you're right. I've done about good 3 or 4 more washes on the background. Because it's watercolor, it will never get really strong. And the apple, I've spent quite a few times yesterday and just putting a little washes and gradually building them up. It's getting there. I think it's the size of it as well, the scope of it being on its own like that. It doesn't have any, what's the word? I don't know. It looks unreal. You wouldn't get an apple that big. But you can put them in a thing, in a frame, and crop it down. You might get something interesting. But like I always say, the main thing about, or in my mind's eye, about a painting, no matter what it is, the real nice thing, it's always been my aim, whatever. If someone walks past it in an exhibition, I'd rather they went, wow, look at that, and stopped, than just sort of, oh yeah, and walked on by. So that's my key reason d'etre when I come to do these things. Just as a thing, when I'm doing these things, portraits, it's going back 100 years. I used to go across the road to a shop that had a photocopier and photocopy a picture. This one I printed it on the computer on an A3 size, but I haven't got an A3 printer anymore, so I printed it out as 2 A4s and put it up on the window so I could see through, and then put little bits of tape. You can see little bits of masking tape so that I could get a rough, because I always use quarto size paper. I get the big sheets, cut it into 4, and then stretch it on a board. And then what I did, I've got this detail paper, but I used to years ago use pinch greaseproof paper out the kitchen and use that, because I don't put that much detail in. All I want is an outline. So I'll just use a pencil. I use these black wing ones quite often, and just, you can't even see through it. I couldn't see her eye over here for a start off. You can see I've missed loads. All I've done is put a few outline lines and then I can use the carbon paper. I have got A3 pieces of that, which is like this, and just tape it over. It's all my secrets coming out now, but this is a good way of doing it. Then I can get the outline on the on my bit of watercolor paper or whatever it is, and then I'll sit in front of the computer like I just did, like I showed you a minute ago, and just hopefully find a few bits of detail that I could put in. In this case, I had to find the eye, and even doing that, it was quite amazing. Well, not really, didn't surprise me that much how much was wrong.
Oh,
Even by tracing the outline like that, when you look at it through your own eyes, you see it totally different. So I ended up re-sketching a lot of it. One of the things I was going to do before I start, in case anyone's not used one, I noticed in her hair there's some, bit like mine really, some lovely grey lines. So I thought what I'd do quickly, so I've got masking fluid. It's called drawing gum. I had to think about that. It's called drawing gum, and I tried it, did a test this morning, and it sort of worked. You can see on here, it's the only place to do it. If you've got one of these ruling pens, I bought these on Amazon. It was a set of 3. I think they're supposed to be different sizes, but when I look at them, I think they're all the flipping same. Maybe a bit longer. Oh, I don't know. Not much in it. So, but if you dip it in get a fairly fine, you just screw the little screw up and it'll just make a gap. Dip it in the fluid, the masking fluid, tap it off, and fingers crossed. Well, always good to test it on a bit of paper, but I find you need to do it sideways, not, I don't know what I mean by, yeah, I do. You've got the groove, well, you'll suss it out when you do it. If you go one way, it tends to come out not so fine. If you go this way, at the moment, it's not coming out at all. There you go. I think I might have just made it a little bit too fine. I'm just practicing on it's one way of getting, I just thought it'd be a good idea just to stick a few lines of fluid on roughly where I can, I'm just making it up where I think I can see them. One over there. It's not that relevant at the moment, but later on when you come to do the hair, I just thought it might give me a little bit of an edge. I can see it, you might not be able to. They're I shaved all my hair off, but before that, prior to that, those white ones, they're like wire wool. There's a lot. I gather by your by that you're in agreement.
Yep.
They're a bit like eyebrows are the same, aren't they? As you get older, it's a good conversation.
Yeah, it does go very coarse, isn't it?
Yeah, Melanie, my wife, often sort of says, "Here, come here a minute." She's got a long white eyebrow or something. She needs to get a pair of pliers to attack it. I'm just putting a few bits of this on it. but it's coming out. You just can't, just at random. I just thought it'd be a good thing to do. Can't do it in acrylics there, Chrissy.
That's what you've got white acrylic pens for.
Yeah, paint them on at the end.
Yeah.
But I never, all the years I was, you know, a little bit more proactive painting, I never rated these things much, but must admit, you can get a really nice fine line. I think I've painted enough of her white hairs for a minute. But I've
I think she'll be nearly all grey at this rate.
That'll take a minute to dry. Looks like the postman's arrived.
No, postman's been. He was early this morning.
Oh, brilliant. Palette wise, today I'm going just using the limited minimum, just a few colours. Normal, yellow, that's peach, dune, sand if you like, flesh tint. Don't know what the colour that was. Mocha. Whatever colour that is, sort of a pinky colour. Rose madder, burnt umber, burnt sienna, Brooker's green and some other green mixed together that I probably won't use. Might do. Bit of blue, and that's raw sienna, and over here is a bit of cobalt turquoise, which is handy for doing some shadow colours, which I think I'll probably start with. Usual mix and blend. I'll put the picture up here on the, got like an easel here. Can you see it? Sort of. Brush wise, yeah, I think I've got one of these little mops that I love. Paint wise, mix up some shadow. I think I'll start off with. Could use it straight out the tube, but equally, I'm still using this palette that's running out of paint. I just want trying to empty it, but I don't want to throw it away. It's a challenge, isn't it? But this color here, I'll move it up and I just want a bit of paper to put it. This color here is turquoise, cobalt turquoise, but it's very weak because underneath it in the palette is some white gouache that I must have been using for some reason or other. But if you mix some little bit of rose madder with it, might have to add a little bit of blue and burnt sienna. It's not brown, is it? It's not going to the shadow tone that I was looking. The white that's underneath here is now dulling, making the my turquoise blue really dull, making it go milky. But should be able to get a nice, gentle. Go on. You can tone it. It's the beauty of that shadow colour. You can tone it to whatever you like. Yeah, burnt umber to it and make it go darker, darker. Green, you know, practice. Bit of green. Show no fear. Burnt umber, yeah. Be careful as you end up with mud. But it does work to a degree. There's a tube of paint called Shadow, which hasn't got the gouache that I've got in my turquoise blue, cobalt turquoise. There's no such thing as turquoise. You just but that's pretty close to what I've just mixed up. But it just saves time on a funny day. Go on then, put some paint on. I will start light. I think we'll start background. I've got enough shadow tone there to last a lifetime. I'm just going to do a bit on the figure first. You want to know what flesh is? Rose madder, raw sienna. You can blend it or add more raw sienna. Alternatively, you can buy flesh straight out of a tube from those lovely people at St. Petersburg. But obviously you can still add more if you want it pinkerier. So you might as well have mixed it up and use by yourself in the first place. I'm just showing off really, just so that I'm in control of my paints. Got a little thumbnail here through here. Just look at it. I think that's the starting thing. Looking at the picture. Try and find this. But when I did the pencil lines, what I'm looking for are areas of shadow. So I'm just going to block them in. It is watercolor. We are not painting the Queen. We're not Rolf Harris painting the Queen. What I have done when I sat in front of the computer is, oops, careful. Did you see that? I was dribbling out of the thing. When I was on the computer, what I was looking for was just shady, shadowy bits and build them up. Mind you, this is exactly the same as same way as I tend to paint anything now. I've made the mistake of starting at the bottom when I'm left-handed, so now I'm going to stick my arm in paint. Don't know why, but she's got these frame lines here, so just going to put a grey smudge on them. And her eyebrows are really almost a bit like mine, worn away with age. They're not there. There's just shade, they're just shadows. But if you can get, this is tempting providence, but if you can get her in front of the computer and just sit down with a pencil and just look at it and just pretend she sat in front of you, perhaps, or something like that. And once you've got that outline, once you've got your outline, just use a pencil really softly to put in some faint shadowy bits. That's my philosophy, the way I'm doing it. Hopefully it works. The only caveat with the shadow colours and using mixing your own up and using the rose madder or Algerian crimson is it's got a high staining value, so it's not easy, as we'll probably find out in a little while, to edit out the just let me any mistakes, because it will stain into the paper. So Just bear that in mind. Believe it or not, I'm putting shadow on that eye. Because it is, everything over that side is quite... Beauty of these brushes is you load it once with a bit of paint, it just seems to go on for ages. Look for shapes. Probably a lot of more shadow there than that. There's definitely some in there. A lot. Practice painting in one colour though, which isn't a bad thing. Next week we've got a giraffe.
Oh,
Oh.
different.
Yeah, but I'm going to do it. I've thought about doing it today as a vibrant background, but I changed my mind. I thought I'll save it for the giraffe because the giraffe can be really quirky when you do those backgrounds. Just look for some shadow bits anyway. For the time being, there's always some there, but even the shadows have a shape: square, triangle, circle. Definitely got it right there. Under the nose, there's always something going on. Trying to think out. Really going over my lines. Suppose I should have put a bit of masking fluid on the ear stud. There you go. Too late now. It's gone back in its bag. Just going to put somewhere in the back here. A lot of the time when you paint, it's more about a roadmap, isn't it? Putting out if you pencil it and you paint over it, it disappears, doesn't it? So you tend to be painting over your pencil lines. But if you can't think of the shadow bits, a bit too strong. Don't want it strong yet. I can get stronger at any time. Adding it is easy, isn't it? Taking it off is, like I said, with this paint, it's got anything that's got rose madder or Algerian crimson in, it's a fast colour. I can't remember the word now. Fugitive. By that it means it sticks. It's not going anywhere. I might as well put a load round where her hairline is. I can feel those little bits of masking fluid now. I think more by than luck than design. Where I've put them is sort of giving me an indication of where I should put a hairline. I'm just doing it in shadow at the moment. And then we've got these flesh tones, but looking, maybe it's the light in here, but it's not very pink. It's very, so just add some more raw sienna to that. That's the problem with this painting, like everything changes. Clean water on the brush, and I'm just gonna follow the lines. I'm starting at the top this time and drop in some of that light colour. Not there. Happy day for you in the world. Happy-ish. The light out in. And always come back and add some more. Watercolor, isn't it? So what we're trying to is the light behind the dark. You can see already those shadow bits have already fugitized, is that a word? Themselves into the paper. It's a little bit redder down the bottom bit. A good idea to keep some water on the brush and let things blend. I've got two distinct flesh tints here. I'm just letting them. Oh, have I done that? Yes, naughty boy. There's a hairline there. Or is it? Can't even sort out my own jaw. No, it's not. No. I see what it is. Can't even sort out my own sketch. My own pencil line. Follow it through. Just want to put a little bit of darker tint in there. Surprising how much colour you can use though. Happy Dave. Oh, never been better. Great these brushes are. When in doubt, clean your brush off, fresh water, and just use the water to tease it, push it up. In this case, looks like I have to mix up some more fleshy tones. Is that good or bad? One asks. Not sure. Lock it in. If you see any highlights, you know, bright areas, usually on the cheeks, there's a piece just there. Stab them off or don't paint them. Just gradually build it up. I think that might be. I want to lift that off a bit in a minute. I'll come back to that. Like that. Right. Try and mix up some more tonal paints. Flashy tone ones. Or I might leave it actually. Let's concentrate on her jumper. Sticking with the same theme though. Just mix up a bit more. If I can, a stronger tone. Rose madder, blue, a little bit of burnt umber in there this time. Try and get a nice, still going to have that shadowy hint to it. You can take more time with yours. But I penciled little lines with a roll neck. Bits were on the pullover where it's crimped together, isn't it? The knitting. I don't know. Like I'm supposed to. What would I know about knitting? We used to do it when we were children, I think. And I learned about guitars, and it went out the window then. Lifetime of learning whatever subject you play. Hobby. Just going to block these in for a minute. Then I'm going to attack the brickwork. Not the actual brickwork, the bits in between. Do you know what? I've put all those pencil lines there and I don't think I've hit one of them right. You know, where the ribs are on the, not one. Oh well. While that's drying off, we'll go somewhere else. Damn it. Annoying that is. But this has shadows too. So if you look at it, we can find them. I think there's something going on here. Well, there is some there, but whether it'll be just a quick line. Some there. One there. Definitely one here. There's a pencil line. I'll put a pencil line for a shadow there. Something going on over here. I'm sat down, so I'm not that close to it. The brickwork, I'm going to start off with sand. Last week's video, I put down. I recall mixing sand. How do you make sand? I've forgotten. Raw sienna, wasn't it? And burnt sienna. Really light mix of it. Just using this for convenience, really. Good. But I don't really want those colours. I want some raw sienna in there. Drop them in. We know they're bricks. I don't think I'm going to go as dark as it is on the. I'm not being fancy or flash about it. just dropping in some burnt sienna on top of it, and I'll add some blue in a minute. And the bits, I have drawn the lines between the bricks, or some of them. Is that a brick there? Isn't it? And there. Yeah. Just drop in some burnt sienna on top of the sand colour, and then get some blue. Perhaps a bit of burnt umber in it. Just a embellish mix. And while it's damp, whack some of that in top. While it's wet, just give it one. I think bricks or L shape is good. I'm not going to get too close to her for now, even though at some point the darkness of this will pull the figure out. Let's put a bit of, I'll put some on where it meets the face. A little way. There's a brick there. Ooh. Burnt umber and blue works really well. We've got plenty of that shadow colour left. Ooh. You've got what colour is it? The really light blue. Cerulean. If you've got some of that, that would be nice in amongst the bricks. There's a bit of whatever that blue is of mine there. You always get just a flick here and there. Looks really nice. Especially while it's wet, you can let them work their magic. What colour I've got in here? It's all sand, wasn't it? I think we add some more sienna to it. And a little bit of rose madder. That'll give us quite a nice flesh colour. It's quite a strong base. I'm going to mix up another one over here, which is raw sienna with rose madder with no fleshy base on it at all. Well, my thinking is that I need different tones within the features of the face. Sticking with this big brush, what I might do, so I'm just going to use that on that top blue for a minute. And then a lighter, or actually let it bleed down. Just clean water on the brush and let it, the colour from the top, bleed down into the bottom from there. There's a drizzle of the stronger red on it. Just let it do its bit. I was watching an artist do a portrait the other day. I think I mentioned it last week. And she wouldn't do the eyes till the end. She wouldn't do the eyes at all. That's the way her method was to leave the eyes to the end. Otherwise, I kind of know what she means. You can try it and discover it for yourself. But the picture takes on a personality, a character, and it doesn't feel so nice when you're painting it. It's like Yeah, it's I can't put it as succinctly as she did, but I know exactly what she means. It's a matter of building up, as far as I'm concerned. Loads of different shades. And when it's damp, add a bit of shadow on if you feel you need it. Just drop it in. If you've got all the colours, you can make them just drizzle. We need a bit of sticking with this brush. I'm doing the same thing that I always do, right the way from day one. Put a line of colour on, then clean water underneath it and let it blend down. You get those lovely smooth areas, and I'll do it on the eye, right in the middle here. I've got a piece of, just on the tip of the brush, a little bit of darker fresh tone. I'm just going to drop it into the eye. Follow the eyelid across. Drizzle the brush on some water. I've got a little bit of tissue on the side here that I keep dabbing the excess of, and then just letting clean water, let it drizzle, see what happens. Should get a nice, clear, I don't know how to describe it really. I'll do it there as well. Add the water, just clean water. Blend it underneath and let it flow down. It's a good way of doing it. A little bit bluer on the shadow on this side. Looks like she's got a bit of a whoops. There's a little bit of shadow there. Decided that I want some shadow along here. Let's let that smooth over as well. Then some flesh into it. It's just a matter of messing about with these three colours really. The shadow, two different strengths of flesh. And back and think, oh my god, what have I done here? Build it up. And bear in mind, well, truth is, until you put the eyes in, it's a little bit of shadow I'm putting in over that side as well. I've decided. It crossed my mind too, without doing portraits of girls wear mascara and things, so it's difficult to judge the eyes. What is, you know, what is real and what is paint, what has been put on. Because when I zoomed in, I thought, well, is that the real skin, or is it mascara or eye makeup, eyeliner? Am I talking rubbish, or I could sense, you know, that it wasn't going to be. When I'm sketching it, I'm thinking, well, is that real? Is that part of the body, or is it something put there to sort of enhance it? I.e., Maybelline number 5. Lovely jubbly. I can't take credit for put that on there. Clean water, I'm going to push it, lift it off, push it up the nose. The thing about these portraits that I reckon is that they change. I keep saying that about these watercolors. Tomorrow, when you look at it, you think, oh, didn't realise that was like that. Colours tend to evolve out. Just put a little bit of the redder colour there. Same thing. Just using the brush to, with clean water, to let it drizzle down a minute. It's quite a lot to do in one session, isn't it? It's quite a nice it's such a nice portrait, nice figure. To do it justice in one sitting, it's not easy if you haven't painted one for a while. I just don't want it to be, while that stamp, I'm just going to drop in a little bit of shadow. A bit of flesh. And a little bit of redder on the top. I'm going to go up. 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 You do feel like a bit of a makeup artist when you paint portraits, don't you?
Yeah.
I noticed it the other week. My favourite portrait that we've done, or that I've done rather, is the one I did of Clint Eastwood. I've got that on the easel near the. Actually, it's quite. I don't. I do. It catches my eye nearly every morning when I wake up. The reason I like it so much, I think I said before, is because it looks like my dad. Oh, Codger, 86 years, 80 something. It's their hang on, yeah, 68th. Got to be careful what I say here. 68th wedding anniversary.
Wow,
I think it's this year.
that's a lot.
Well, yeah, 68, because I'm 68, and it's the same. They got married the year that I was born, or whatever, you know, pretty close after. I think they would have got married before, but Dad was in the Navy, so he probably didn't have leave to come home and get married, or you know, or they postponed it for some odd reason. Nice bit of blusher going on here. But all you do is, well, all I do anyway, is I look for shady bits and just dab a bit of paint on. I reckon that's a good way of doing it. Put a block of paint on, put your brush in the water, and I've got a piece of tissue just there, and I'm just tapping it, take the edge off the water, and you can just blend. There's a bit there, it's got like a strong feel to it. These frame lines done with a rigger really, because the shadow is too strong. Well, in my view it is. But you've got to put something on to get them moving. Yeah, I think if I used the rigor of slightly finer lines, it would have looked nicer. I'm just going over some of the frame lines with a bit of darker fresh tone. It seems to be building up quite nicely. I don't know. Just want to put a bit more over this side. You get a few bits with just white, leave them. Don't get too. There's a term for them, it's an American term, and I can't remember what it is. Just leave them. A few of them really make picture pop, quite, you know, show up quite nicely. You can see what I've started off really light, and all I've done now is, or all I've been doing now is just gradually building up a few darker areas even. Trying to, I think there's a line there. Of shadow. While it's damp, you can take a little bit of shadow on your brush and drop it in. Especially like there, it's like a jawline, isn't there? Or a neckline, jawline. Then if you drop a bit of clean water underneath it, and it goes lovely and smooth. What do you reckon on colour for the hair? Anybody? Anybody don't care? What colour do I want hair? Burnt umber. I'm going to go anyway. Before I do that, I'm going to get some blue and burnt umber. A really nice. Give me a really nice dark. Can I add a drop of that colour in it? And I'm just going to have a look for some bricky bits for a minute. quite funny at the moment. I mean, people sort of ask you a question, what brushes do you use? What brush do you use? You know, what brushes? It's always in the plural or the many. I think the last few weeks I've only used the one I bought the other week. It's got a red dot. I don't know what size it is. Size 0. It says on it, you twit. Mop brush from Rosemary and Co. Seems to be all right, doesn't it? I can't. I'm going to get a load of shadow on it now. Mix up. I've got burnt umber and blue. I'm going to take a punt here. Actually, I'll start at the top. I'm just going to follow the line of the face. Luckily, it's got a fine point on it. Go all the way down. I was feeling confident I'd do it in one big foul sweep. No, I'm not today. I'm not having one of my. It's because I'm sat down. Go on, put some paint on it. It'd be nice to let that dry off and then just use that as a wash over the dry bricks. Then the colour from underneath would show through. But time and lunch waits for no artists. But you get the drift. That's to build it up, especially on that side. I think we set the right colours in stone, and on the other side I do the same thing, weaker. Not that weak. I'm just gonna drizzle paint over the stony bits. Add a bit of burnt sienna if you like. Warm it up. And then normally we let this dry, won't we? What colour hair has this lady got? Anyone notice?
Very dark, isn't it?
It's almost
Bluey black, I would thought.
Yeah, I was having a think about it, and I thought, what should I do for her hair? And the only thing that came up was indigo. I'm just trying to mix up a blue of some description. Don't mess about. Just go for it. That was blue. I was just using whatever, cobalt blue and thingy, ultramarine mixed up together. Oh, that's a shame. Wonder if I can lift a bit off. Just there. Yeah, that'd do. I'll do that bit of tissue. But it'll fade back anyway. As I say, the blue over there, I think I can safely say I can clean that palette out now, because it's not dispensing blue anymore, it's dispensing an off-white colour. I'll go whoosh there, bit of shadowy maybe. Drop it in. I need to lift it. Oh, maybe not. I'm just going to put a line of paint in there. Just look for some darker bits, build up some darker paint, maybe add a bit more. See, that's got more of the ultramarine in it. I can she didn't really want. Never mind. Not a bad jumper, is it? Right. Hair. So we don't know. We're not sure. I'm not sure. So what we'll do, when in doubt, I've got a tube of indigo. I'm not afraid. Who are you gonna call? Indigo. So I'll whack some of that on the hair, see what that does. I'll stick with this brush, but I'll take the edge off it and use it. By that I'm saying I've just dabbed it in tissue. And just gonna, it's got burnt umber in it, so be a shame to mess the whole picture up now. Oh look, those white bits are sticking out. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's a good thing, you know. When it boils down to it, in a minute, if I rub them off, it's gonna look horrible. Oh, different. It did horrible. I'll just use the edge of the. It's about. I couldn't think of any other colour that would give me a instant. Well, apart from black, but that's like. You can't use black in watercolor. Thing is, if I did use black out of a tube, I know what I'm like. I would put a different colour in it just to set it off. Probably be a blue or a green. Works really well on black. Just trying to use this brush dry so I get some wave lines. I don't think there's any hair over the. Oh, there's now. Nice colour though, and it goes sorely misrepresented. Run out of it now. Burnt umber and blue. Go. Burnt umber. Oh. Slowly getting to this palette up. Burnt umber and blue. All the colours in the palette. That was a nice link you sent me, Chris, with all those palettes on.
Yes. Yeah, the one I bought was excellent.
I can't remember the name, the range of them. It begin with M, I think.
Yeah.
On Amazon. When I clicked it, you go down the page and like you do on Amazon, check the other you know, the other items that they sell, and there's loads of really fascinating palettes. And I'm a
It
bit of a
MI, and then it looks like a sort of a funny J, ELLO. So me yellow.
yeah, Mulo or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of an easy target for palettes. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I'm flicking dark down this. I'm thinking, well, she's going to have it now. Feels a bit haircut. Perhaps a rigger have been better at this stage. But
I've just opened the palette, and the paint is still good to go. Which for
yeah,
acrylic is
they're
amazing.
airtight. But they
Yeah.
do watercolor ones that are equally watertight. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, well, that'd be fascinating because if you close it, I'm always whinging that because it's, especially this time of year, it gets so hot, they dry. I spend half the day spraying water into my paints.
Yeah, trying to rehydrate it. Yeah, it's I was very pleased with it. I probably wouldn't have bought it if I had known it was a gift voucher, because it's a bit above my normal budget for things, but it was a very good investment.
It's a good find.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, I was. When I looked at all the palettes, I was thinking, oh no, Dave, don't. I took a look around and I'm thinking, you have got a lot of palettes here.
Well, I've tried so many different ones, but this one is far exceeds all the others.
Yeah, me too. Right. Tidy up time now, isn't it? Am I off for time? Is it anywhere near?
On 10 to.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you're fine. Because I haven't got much time at all this week, I've just printed off and sketched the thing on. Might save a bit of time. Hopefully I'll have time to do this one in acrylic, but then I'm taking my watercolor pad and pencils away with me. So
Yeah.
might be, if we got a signal, I might be able to pick up the email at least with the picture for the next one.
Yeah.
Because we'll miss the next 2 Tuesdays.
What's his name? The guy that does the quirky animal. Oh, Jake Winkle. Lives
Oh
down
yes, the giraffe, isn't it? Yeah, it's a giraffe next one.
he does one of his as a giraffe. And so I thought, oh, we'll have a bit of fun with that. I've got a rigger and I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing really, just tidying up a few bits, just sort of going over a few areas. With it, once you get a rigger in your hand, time just changes. It's sort of a tidy up thingy, isn't it? Or not. Could be tidy up, cock it up, mess it up. Wow, possibly. But I haven't used that many colours. I've stuck with the same usual, well, the same sort of 3-4 colours all the way through. It's just a bit of that off. edit. Especially when it's damp, you can just drop colours in. Just drop a bit of paint in. And move away to a different area. But as I say, you can spend weeks, months, as long as you like, really, adding, building up shadow like that apple from last week. I've been putting washes on that all week.
Mhm.
You know, you think, oh, you stand back, look at it, and think, oh, I'll just put on. Maybe I was masking out the apple and thinking it needs more in the background and all this sort of thing. But with these portraits, the other thing that happens, as long as you you sort of set out those shadow areas and what have you right from the start, during the week you'll spend time either lifting them off or adding to them, or as it dries back. I do anyway. Thinking, you know, the face takes different shapes, different forms. A bit like the apple. You look at it and think, I wonder if I put a little bit of darker colour on around this edge, will it make it look more round or more? That's not word, is it? More round, rounder. Will it look rounder? Will it look more three-dimensional? And you can't always visualize that straight away. You sort of need to, especially in watercolor, let it dry off. I'm doing it still, even though I'm using the rigger. I'm just putting. There's a lot on there. A lot of clean. I'm just putting a row of colour. I'll do it there. A line of colour. And then just clean water and it down. I'll do it darker so you can see it. Just push it. In this case, I'm doing it slightly different, but just clean water on the brush and I can push it around. And if you think it's not working, or it's too, like this might be a bit strong, you've got a choice. You can use the bit of tissue in your hand, clean water on the brush, and just lift it off. Just rub it in the tissue at the same time. And lighten it up. Or you can use the tissue to lift it off completely. The reason that takes me back doing this, the reason that there's white in the palette here was for doing portraits, because it's a good technique that you can introduce white into your flesh tones. This is white now, but if you're using, it's got this, heaven forbid, you can put mix white in there, and then later on you can use a damp brush to lift off colour. See that initially this area here looks like it's in shadow, but it's not. So put the rigger down a minute. It's more of a fleshy tone, which I've just mucked up my palette with. Nothing but consistency here. Mix up some more flesh, raw sienna. touch of rose madder and whoosh. Add some water to your own taste. Thin it out if you want the brighter one. Oh, a lot more stronger mix of raw sienna. If I recall, when I was mixing this colour originally, I put a little bit of St. Petersburg flesh out the tube on it. So I'll repeat that process. Wash it off. Clean water. Smooth it. Blend it in. And go right down with that.
I'm struggling with the skin tone colours. What should I do for them?
If you watch what I'm doing, what I just did there, yeah, these are the two skin tone colours I'm using.
I don't have those, I don't think.
Yes, you do. Have you got raw sienna?
No,
You need raw sienna. Or have you got, what yellow are you using? Yellow ochre?
I don't know.
Whatever yellow it is. Watch. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
You can watch the procedure if nothing else. Thank God. If you use a yellow or a raw sienna's a standard watercolor paint, yeah? So you need a drop of that and either rose madder or alizarin crimson. My accent's rubbish with colours, and just mix that together, yeah? And there you go. If you add more raw sienna, it will go more this shade. But if you really want to do it, just buy a tube of flesh from hang on, I think I've got one of a tube here. Yeah, it's a good from St. Petersburg paints, which are De La Rani actually. It's actually called Naples Flesh. And that colour gives you a good base for all the others. But it's a good base colour to use. Peach is another one. Trouble is, Mia, everyone's flesh is such a... what colour is it? It's, you know, changes. Some days you... I don't know. It's just so varied. And the light changes it so much as well. You get a bit of shadow or shade. I can just putting a shadowy colour on the where it meets the jersey. Yeah, she looks quite happy now. Not sure about the hair. It's drying back now and it's sort of looking a bit interesting.
Like a punk rocker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking that. More like Sid Vicious than... Anyway, I've got some burnt umber. I've just mixed it in with the remains of the shady bit that was there. And I'm just going to drop it in, see if I can fill it in a bit. Amazing, huh? Dried. Well, I've never used indigo in a hair colour before. So it's the first for everything. You can, that's the beauty of the power of being an artist, isn't it? You can change people's looks with a flick of a brush. What colour hair do you want today?
Mm.
But it shouldn't be too difficult. I think that, yeah, but those white streaks I put in are making it look that way. And I can't get them out until it's bone dry, well, until it dries off considerably. Right.
Mm.
So we, I've got a rigger here. I think a little bit of green mixed with a little bit of light blue. It doesn't go grey, but it gives a sort of a sheen. I'm just going to put a blob of it in each eye. Try and think to yourself, where do you want a reflection in the eye? Wherever you leave it in one, I think you should try and assimilate it similarly in the other one. This side's darker anyway. Well, it is on the photograph. But the paper is still, my paper is still quite wet. So when I put colour on, it is I need to come this way a bit. See what I mean? As soon as you put eyes in, the thing becomes a character.
Mm.
I can see exactly what that lady was saying. I mean, she's a famous portrait artist. And then if you put a dark bit in the middle, wow, now you've got something that's staring straight at you, saying, come on then, big boy, paint me. You know? Or, come on. Or, so one thing I haven't done that I must do, I've got some flesh, is put it in the middle of the eye. I'm going to do it both sides just to emphasize the point. Clean water on the brush and just let it fizzle, let it blend. Every one eye's got it. Tear ducts. What they are on it?
Mm.
Without getting too technical. You can always lift a bit off. And the rest of the time is a matter of using strengths of flesh, add a little bit of shadow on top, and put some mascara or some shadow lines on. Try and leave I think I'm starting to get the feel for this now. Try and leave the eyelid with a highlight on it. That's what that double line is there. And put a bit on one side, try and leave a little highlight on it. The one on the other side doesn't matter because it's all in shadow. So if it's all in shadow, we'll stick some shadow on it. Almost worked that. Wow, you're going to have some fun with this. I think Mia's already painted hers. Awesome. But once you get the rigor going, you've got so much opportunity to do what I've, put that little line of colour, or just on the brush, just put a little bit of water, and you can do this in acrylic. You can put a little bit of colour like that, a load of water, and just blend it across. It works just the same. It's a water-based medium, same as this, so whatever you do with this, you can do with that, but you just got to be quicker at doing it. or just don't paint outside. Or don't have a fan, have the window open or anything. I'm making this up now. I'm just well, I'm on about the painting. I'm not I haven't looked at the reference picture for quite some time now. We said how it shows. Just want to put a line pink on that lip. Perhaps lift. Got a bit of clean tissue. I'm sorry about the hair, ma'am. I'm sure we can fix it at some point. Change brush. So, not because I'm painting, because I'm lifting bits of paint off with clean water. Well, considering I haven't painted a portrait for quite a while, I'm quite chuffed with this.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice stuff.
And I haven't looked at the screen, but I can sense that if the lady Hillary saw this, she'd say, "Cool, blimey, that's me," which is always a nice. Remember that lady, the one I did a while back? She saw it and she sent me an email. I was like, gobsmacked. I can't believe it. No, that's me. She was in America, which is nice. Right, I'm going to stand up for a sec. Oh, wow, she's beautiful. I really like that. Punk rock and all. It's funny when you're sat down, you can't quite see it the same. You're too close to it all. Oh, look, that's a shame. A little bit of Pronunciation or something. Splashing me paint, me brush. Oh, wow. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to just dry. Yeah, I'm going to dry the top off. And flick and try and rub those. Oh, wow. That indigo paint, I don't know what paint it was, but it's dried and a different texture to a watercolor. I think it was a blend of watercolor and gouache. We will go to the Bill Cinderella. Paper is like this. It's all. Right then, missus. See if we can flick off these bits of. Oh. And that's they were really fine. You couldn't see them on camera. I knew it was an experiment, but I'm not worried about that.
I think on the picture, Dave, her hair is it's a lot softer. It's almost like it's tied up in like a bun, qigong, or whatever you say it.
Yeah. Well, I've got a stiff brush here. That's an oil brush. So what I'm going to do is just soften it down a bit. Just clean water on it. And blend it in a bit. But like I say, you can do this. You usually find yourself doing this sort of Thursday. If it's Tuesday today, tomorrow evening or Thursday morning you look at it and think, right, I
Mm.
just need a few spots. That bit there's is in her hair. That's not right. That's got to come off. There was a white line sticking out of her forehead. But the masking tape has masking fluid. I've painted over it with fleshy colour. I didn't want. They don't need to be strong. They just need to be an indication that they're there. I've never done it with that before, so it was a bit of a hit and miss. But these brushes. This is Rosemary and Co. Evergreen oil brush. Well, acrylics and oils. What I find over the years, if you make them damp, you can blend a portrait really well. You can see what's happening now. It's softening and leaving highlights behind. It's pushing the paint around. But like you say, Chris, you can't see the specific hairstyle anyway. So we know there's waves and curves there, but it's really difficult to judge them. That's a 100% better than it was.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't want to go too mad. That's all right. That's just a bit of masking fluid dropping down. But you've got one of these, or a stiff brush. You can do it. Oops. You can just sort of blend it or blend away. Especially some of these. Surprised how it dries up. Some of these areas as well. Just push them in because they were hard lines when I did them. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. For a quick Tuesday morning session. Still got a bit of hope in me. I quite like her hair like that, actually. It was the lockdown, see? The hairdressers, you can go to the hairdressers. So you had to do it yourself with using the rigger though. I don't know what's going on here with that colour. And there's hardly any water on it. It's well
I'm
done.
going to have to go, I'm afraid, because I've got to go and let my neighbour's dog out, and it's a little bit late. I should have done it at 12 o'clock, so I better go and do that. So, well, I won't see you next week. I'll try and do this one before I go, but if not, hey ho. And yeah, see you in.
It's a nice picture. I think you'll enjoy this.
Well, I hope so. It's just finding time to do it. Yeah, but I
Well, I've tried to make it as relaxed as possible because there's no right and there's no wrong. There's only you and a brush.
Okay, all right.
Okay, then. Have a nice time away. Yeah,
Thank
have
you.
a good holiday.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Anne's going to join us, but
No,
Good weather.
Yeah. Is she coming with
Birthday
you?
girl, she's probably gone out.
yeah, they're stewarding. I'm sort of assistant steward.
Oh, right. Where's this down at Dorchester? Are you okay? Yeah.
Kingston Ward, where we normally go. But we'll be back. We come back on the 4th, so the 5th is Tuesday. So it's the next two. The third one should be back.
Okay then. I hope the weather stays good for you.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good luck, Mia.
Yeah, I think I'll not going to do much more to it now. Just going to leave it to fester for a day or so, and perhaps come back.
Good.
I'll drop bits off and on later. So it's just that little bit of, maybe not. It's a good idea with these things. If you could just make it damp and drop the colour in, and you'll get a much nicer. I want to push that hair over that way a bit, but I can't because it's all so wet. I want it to calm down a bit. Yeah, okay. But the bits where as it dries, you'll get these like, not those, that's a bit of masking fluid. You'll get these areas that are dry, hard lines. You can just go over them with a damp brush and smooth them in. You'll get a lovely sort of blossom to it. Right, let's, yeah, I think that's okay. Might. Backgrounds are always a bloody pain. Never get the, well, I don't. I never feel 100% with them. Like this, I want it to be, I don't want it to be strong. So I'm just going to push them off a bit. I want them to be a little bit softer. And going back to tradition, that seems to be one of my things at the moment, is either use sand or a flesh tone anywhere in the picture to, if you're not, just to take the edge off stuff, and it fades back as well. So especially down here, I don't want it to be, because otherwise it's going to take the edge away from the portrait. Saying that, there's a bit I just noticed along here that needs softening and pushing away. As it's drying, there's a line forming here that's spoiling it for me. So that's just burnt sienna, burnt umber and blue. Push it on. As it dries, it's the lines coming up. I don't know what, it must have been a brush stroke that I did. No one else here doing it, so it must have been me. Sometimes wish there was. But in truth, tradition, if you do it one side, you should simulate it a little bit the other side. So I've done that. Scrubbed that. I had to scrub that there to fix it. So I really ought to put some over the other side to balance it. Yeah. Put a bit on her under there. There you go. That's how confident I am. And add a bit here for a laugh. Right? Voila. That's it. I'm cooked. And I'm hungry.
My tummy keeps rumbling.
My tummy's rumbling.
Yeah, mine.
Is a bit interesting when you're trying to concentrate on something and your tummy starts. But you can see what you can do.
Mm.
You can just sort of, I've done it there now. I'm going to stop tinkering, otherwise it'll get worse and worse and worse. Yeah, that'll do.
Good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, looks like fun.
Be all right.
Dave, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to say thank you very much, and won't see you next week. See you the week after, and everybody take care.
Yeah, and you.
Thanks. Bye then.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
I always wanted to be a punk rocker or punk artist.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Careful what you wish for. But from experience, I know it'll dry back and it will be like the apple. I'll end up tweaking it. And of course, we've got our got watercolor pencils as well, which tend to come in handy, really handy later on as it dries. You know, you can add some extra tone. That's just a flesh tone one. But you can just sort of slowly tease, you know, add extra bits to it here and there, just highlights really, which I'll do when it's dry or not. Especially those worry lines, we could put a couple there. It's no different to using a brush really. It's just more pointy, and you can, you know, concentrate where it goes. Direct it. It's almost like having a rigger with an unlimited amount of paint on it. But I stick to what I say, that I mean, this is a portrait, but any painting that you do, there's bits on it that you're not happy with. Get one of these. Just get a watercolor pencil, and I don't know what color this is. This is does it say what color it is? It's in German, beige red, they've called it. But you can use it on any picture and just add some little subtle highlights and nuances using the flesh. Even on blue, I mean, I won't do it there because it's soaking wet, but you can just go and it just does it. I don't know how it does it. It's just something I fell into.
Right, I'm going to have to go, Dave. So,
Yeah, me too. Our dinner.
I'll say goodbye and thanks very much.
Yeah. And good luck.
Yeah, and good luck to you as well.
Yeah, okay then.
See you
Take
next
care.
week.
Yeah, okay
Thank
then.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It's been a hard... No, sorry. It's been a hard day's night. I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. Should be sleeping like a log. When I get on to you, I find the things that you do make me feel alright. Oh, when I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, One day we'll get one right.